I know some stuff came up and I was kind of skimming through it and I totally went off last night. I had a lot to say. Actually, on multiple people, but I was like, where are we going with this? So I said I was going to put up a clip a while back and I actually explained it on my Instagram thing of what happened there. So there was this whole drama, right? With Charmed and everything else. And I was talking about how I knew these people that were friends with these people and yada yada. And then I lived with these people that were friends with so and so and Robert Downey Jr. So anyway, there was a lot in that even I was doing further research. Robert Downey is a piece of you know what. But beyond that, the secondary thing to this, there was some other people trashing on Milano, right? So yeah, and I said when I worked on everything I said on the clip that I was talking about all the girls, I go, yeah, they were drama city, like when we went on the set. But I happened to befriend some guy that was related to Shannon, I guess, and I mean, you want to talk about people that just spread around stuff, but it wasn't, at least on her stuff, it wasn't like terrible, terrible, but it was kind of like, I don't know, whatever, bullshit. Anyway, but the Alyssa thing, I was trying to figure out because I was like, yeah, dude, when we're working on there, it was really bad. And somebody stole her chair and it was probably one of the girls. Okay, I don't know who did it because they had this inner drama and then they were trying to blame us for doing it, like the workers. And they were trying to be like, oh, when you hire, these background people, they're like, who said this? I don't even remember. Something like because they're big fans and they just wanted a chair with her name on it. And I was like, I can't even imagine that. Mostly in this job because most of the people that do that job like literally want to get into the industry itself, and like you're not like on set going, I'm gonna go and steal someone's folding chair. Like, the chairs, this director chairs, they were trying to blame us for that, and or somebody, like they tried to. So I actually don't know what they discovered in that thing or who did it, but when you know the background story and you read the media about it, like they were all feuding. So like if you're feuding with that girl, like wouldn't you do some bullshit like that? Like F her, I'm gonna like take her chair. I don't know. It was something weird. This is one of the dramas that I remember. And this is before Rose was on. Rose wasn't there, right? So then Rose was talking about her and stuff like that. And I go, yeah, man, she must be a terrible person, dude. Because this other story came out. It was a whole different thing. It was like not even related. It was like literally 3 or 4 years after that incident. I go move in with these guys, right? And they said some horrific stuff. And they said some really horrific stuff, right? And stupid me. And now I'm pretty good at not like running around telling people stuff. You know what I mean? Like I don't typically do that. I mean, now today we're talking about a lot of like stuff that had happened. But at that time I wasn't like a gossiper or like putting out like, you know what I mean? It wasn't even like that. But at this time, I don't know. I was doing like my, typical daily public diary thing. I don't know. And I was just like, oh yeah, apparently so and so, blah, 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 blah. And I was posting this out and I was kind of like, that's pretty bad of me. Why did I do that? So anyway, but I took it down, right? Like I didn't have like a tank of people like reading that stuff. And in fact, probably nobody did. I mean, if anything, she may have seen it or somebody that's a fan. The other thing about it is like that information was kind of already out there. Now, I don't know when it came out there or whatever it came out there. Anyway, it's tacky as shit. It was really bad. Okay, and but I didn't do it. It wasn't like, oh, I spread something out and did that. It was just I repeated something that I shouldn't have repeated because I wasn't thinking much about it. No, I've never done that though before. It was kind of weird. And so then I took it down. This is a long time ago, you guys. Maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. It was a while ago. Anyway, so it was just in a string of stuff I was talking about in the stuff because it's related to my music stuff, right? Because these guys were such assholes, let me tell you. And I was more focused on the actions of them with me and the situation they put me in. Um, yeah, there was a setup there. So when I did my blog at the time when it was going on, I didn't mention it. I was basically spouting off, like kind of referring to them or something. I guess they were on drugs. I don't know. I was really mad about drug addicts. I was like, because I got really pissed off right here. Um, and so I'm writing in my, my website thing, like, yeah, it's really hard to. It's not an easy task to get these guys together. Yeah, it was kind of like that thing. And but I didn't say what happened here or anything. So then yeah, so then I talked about the Scott Weiland thing, right? So then I did some research recently, and I was like, why is this even going on though? Because I know the one crowd right here, I know who they all are. I mean, at least some of them, like because they were going on the names and everything. And I go, they're such asshole men because it's the men that was spreading around I'll put it this way. Sexually degrading and like things like really horrific stuff that men shouldn't be talking about our gender at all in that way. Nothing like that. So what is the difference between posting it in public and just spreading it around the mill of Hollywood? You know what I mean? Well, it went beyond that. I went to Glendale. But like I'm saying, and I don't. Here's the thing, because I don't know her, but I worked with them, but I don't know her, right? So it's like, is that information that I should be privy to? Absolutely not. Nobody should be. I mean, it's just you know what I mean? It's one of those things where it was done maliciously, and so at the time, all these people were just jumping on her, right? And so then I was just saying, yeah, dude, because all these other things went on, like on the earlier stuff and all that. And it's like, I don't know how, I mean, she must be like the most horrible person under the sun because holy crap, But this guy, the guy that was saying it, I was questioning because I started doing this research and I go, oh, is that her ex-man? Because I could have lived with her ex-man. That's what I mean, he wasn't in my band. That was the friend of the drummer. And so I was like, that could be why, but let me research it because there has to be there's an explanation to it, right? Because it was like, he was so fuming pissed that it's almost like it's like a personal thing to the guy, right? But I'm like, I don't think that guy was with her though. I was like, I don't know. Like, but it wasn't coming off like he was her ex. But it was like, when someone's just talking shit about somebody, like going on, he's like, this, that, oh, yeah, that one right there, like that, like really pissed. And so when I did research, this is the weird thing, and it crosses over into Britney Spears' story, which I was reading it in the media here, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. But I don't think Britney, I mean, there's a thing here where it could be like, there's people that were friends with them and they got pissed and then they started spreading around stuff and then all the men started spreading it around. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like something that was spread around by a female. Okay. That's the one portion to it. Even though Britney was mad or any of those things. So what I found in this was, Lisa dating Justin Timberlake at the same time that this went on. Right. And so I was going to do a clip because I'm like, I don't know if Justin would be doing that. I don't know if it's this other guy. Because the ex, I found some stories of the ex, like in the middle of this, alongside of that. And somebody said last night that they couldn't find the original photos of Justin and her together. And I go, that's odd because I found him quite easily and I was going to do a clip on it. And it wasn't that long ago. It was like maybe within the last 2 years, maybe, or it was during COVID, I believe. It was when I was here. So, but what happened was when I was reading through it, and the purpose of trying to even talk about that was trying to find the culprit to who said that and why they were saying it. But it was coming off like I was bullying her. Like let me put it this way. It could come off like I was bullying her because the stories that I'm pulling up is, oh, Alyssa went and dated Justin over here. And then all of a sudden, this guy over here, it was a one-sided story. It was like the guy was like, no, he was an annoyance, dude. Like, I couldn't even deal with reading him. I was like, this guy's an asshole. Like, he was painting himself as this, like, victim, right? And then he, like, had a stalker friend that was watching her while he's out of town or something weird, right? And I was like, is this the guy? Because the name of the band sounds familiar. But I'm not sure. I don't want to say for sure that's the guy or not. But the guy had a working relationship with Scott. And so I was like, who the hell? Like, you know what I mean? So you're looking at the picture. So what I found, I did some more research over the last, I don't know, couple months, right? When did I do this? Oh yeah, last month, or in the last month, because I was gonna do a thing on Robert Downey's role and his bullshit alongside of some stuff. But while I was going through that, and I went through the Danny Masterson's thing, I found his wife's early conduct. And it's so odd how this all came together, because there was an incident too where Courtney and them like totally banned me. And I was like, what the hell? So what happened was, and it's kind I mean, I don't take it personally, but who knows what the hell the bullshit is over there. But during the time I was living with these guys, okay, that were friends with Scott, and they're all friends, right? Because they were hanging out together. Um, so it's not like I'm fighting with anybody in this circle, right? I'm like literally living with them. So I was on their computer and I joined her forum or something weird. She had this thing going on and she was talking all crazy and you couldn't read her writing. It was kind of funny. And this guy comes in and he said some really degrading stuff about her. And I just automatically, anytime I see some bullshit like that, I get all pissed off and I'm like, dude, and it wasn't probably really terrible at the time because I didn't talk like too horrifically back then. And I mean, for real, like, how can you offend Courtney here? I was like, but anyway, I was telling him something like, dude, you need to, like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like something. I don't remember what he said or what I said, but I was confronting him with his sexually degrading comment. And the next thing I know, they go and ban me and let that guy stay there. And I'm like, hmm? So she defended that conduct. So I was like, I don't know who it is. I was like, I could totally see it being like Marilyn under a different name or something. Which oddly enough, I just met them right at the same time too. So I had just met all these people. I had no issues with those people. The only camp that I was fighting with was the other team over there. And, but yeah, and I think I used my band name too to sign in. Like, it wasn't like I was trying to hide behind any other thing. It was either that or the name that I go by. So it's like, yeah, so that happened. I was like, whatever, dude, she's nuts over here. She was totally off the rails at that time. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was a strange thing. I go, but still, the truth is, they defended a guy that was sexually degrading her or just talking all this mad smack about her. And she's totally fine with it. And they go and ban me. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But it happened at the same time I was living with these guys. But anyway, so when I was looking for this stuff, yeah, I saw the Justin Timberlake thing and I was like, yeah, that's strange. And then the Danny thing, all that. Okay, so then in 1999, they all were together. This is the funniest thing. So I was looking back at this and I go, okay, I don't know who do we think is doing this? And it could have been Scott Weiland himself too. I have no idea if they had a thing together. I don't think so because he was with his wife. And the other portion of the story was them trashing his wife, right? So that portion I totally came out because it was in the media, by the way. But I didn't know. And they were trying to flip the story around and say that Scott's the victim. And I said at the time I had no idea because I don't know them and I don't know what the hell's going on there. But I don't really believe that. It was like that. Like, I don't really believe that. But I didn't really think too much on it, you know what I mean? Because I was like, I don't, it's like, it's not a who cares, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know. It's not, ruining my day because, something over there. But anyway, yeah, it was in the media, and yeah, Scott was the abuser. But anyways, these guys were spreading around vile crap about women. And to me, that's why I said it was crazy. And so then Alyssa's with Justin Timberlake. Now, this started up when she was with Justin Timberlake. And I go, okay, who would be pissed off that she's with Justin Timberlake? Because I don't think it was Justin that did it, but Justin could have totally spread around stuff. But I don't think so, because it's at the same time. It's at the same time that this occurred, because they started dating, I guess, in maybe June or something, till the beginning of 2003. And this incident occurred between the end of August and October, or no later than November. So in this span right there, okay? It would be very unlikely that Justin Timberlake spread anything around like that, okay? So I was looking at it and I was like, okay, that's interesting. So would somebody be jealous that she was seeing Justin? So that was part of the actual story. So then, yeah, well, okay, so the ex, if you go into the story of the ex, it may be very difficult for you guys to find because Google hides information. The information is out there. I was saying Google hides all this information, and for me to go researching, it is like, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. So, and I don't even get paid for it, and I have to do massive, like, I have to do a lot of things to find what I'm looking for, and sometimes it can take a long time to do that. Like, I just have to have a night where I'm not doing anything, and I'm like, okay, let me think, where can I go? And then you have to start jumping links, and sometimes go into archival things. But in order to go into the archival thing, you need to know that something first existed. Yeah, it's a thing like that, right? But anyway, I'm pretty sure that these two items were out in the open. It wasn't like hidden in, like, erased and then I had to go to an archive. No, it was on a website, because they had, what do they do on this website? Okay, on this website where it was obtained, they basically just had copies of some of the magazine stuff, and then they just like put it up, right? And then they were talking about it, and it was like I think it was like maybe like a single person that was trying to run kind of a celebrity news site type of thing, like those sites, and then they like kind of put that information out and then reference where they got that information, and then yeah, and then I was looking at it and I go, oh, there's photos of her with Justin right here. I go, how weird. They were coming out of a building together like early in the morning, and she had shades on or something. That's what they're talking about. And so, because if you go look at the stuff now, there's like pictures of them. I think there's one of them golfing or something, but those aren't the pictures that they were talking about. They were saying that there was these paparazzi photos from a long time ago, and now they can't find them. I go, no, they're there. It's just when you search on Google, it will not pull it up. And when I was searching for it, I was definitely not searching for Justin Timberlake, because I didn't even know they were together. I knew at a point in time that Britney was with him, and then they broke up, because then he did that stupid song that nobody can get out of their head. At the time, but I didn't know when they broke up. I didn't pay attention to their dating stuff. I didn't pay much attention to the pop stars generally. So I didn't have a clue that, oh, they just broke up around here and those two were friends at a time, or, any of that stuff. I didn't know none of that. Okay. And so, X was doing this drama in the media. It was so annoying, dude. I was like, this guy, I don't like any of them. I was like, any of these guys in here. I don't like Justin. I don't like any of them. None of these guys are good. I like know right away. I was like, I'm not even going to waste my time with them, because I could already tell he's a piece of shit. I was like, but most of the boy band guys, no, terrible. Carters are terrible. You know what I mean? But they're terrible because of the mom, the family unit there. I was talking about that. And then I start confusing the bands, because it's like, we got Menudo, we got New Kids on the Block, we got, the Backstreet Boys, and we got NSYNC, and And I never listened to most of them. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh yeah, which band is he in? Oh yeah. Um, yeah, so there was this thing about it. But anyways, yeah, the boyfriend, I mean, not the boyfriend, the ex-husband. Anyway, he's like in the media talking about how he stalked her down and, this whole drama. And it was all about him, right? It was like his side. And so when I'm doing the video, it's like I'm reading the story, right? So it's like pounding on her, like his voice, right? Pounding on her and that she's the bad one and alluding to she was cheating on him and this and that and this and that. And I was like, that's annoying because I would be annoyed that if I'm at a club and some person, I don't know, like he went and referred information to him saying that they were a little close or something like that. I don't remember. It was so stupid. Like I was reading it and I was like, this guy sounds totally insecure. But then it almost sounded like he was trying to cover up for his own bullshit. It started to sound that way because it was like she was trying to talk to him and then he wouldn't respond back. And I was like, is this the guy I was living with? Because it sounds like that a-hole. Because that guy was psychotic. I will tell you that guy is psychotic. But I don't know. I was like, yeah, the name of the band is familiar to me. And I never heard of those guys. And I was like, is that the band that they were telling me? Because they did tell me a band name. And then there was another side band that I thought started with an R or something. And then, but I don't recall them being gigantically huge here. But they could have been, and I'm just oblivious to it. Yeah, and there were some other people that came over to the house. I remember we were eating at a table and there was a bunch of people there and I didn't know a goddamn person. And I didn't pay attention to any one of them, just to tell you, because I don't look at people, because I'm probably autistic. I don't know, but I honestly, like, I was at a table, and there was, like, I don't know, I remember there were some girls, there was some other guys, and it was uncomfortable, and then I don't remember anything else from that. And then, but I don't remember a tank of people living in the house. I remember those two guys. If there was anybody else in there, I didn't run across them. It was strange. I was like remembering back at this and then, yeah, so I don't know. That's what I was looking at. But like I said, when I was doing the clip, it's like I'm going, Alyssa was with Justin here. And then her ex said this and that. And then it just sounds like it just came off. Like, I don't know why. Like at the end of me doing it, I was like, this makes me feel not good. It just didn't sound right. Like it's not often that I have that happen. But it's like that's not the purpose of it. And then it would just come off like we're just pounding on her like a million times over. And it's like for this particular thing, it wasn't about that. It was about trying to figure out who was spreading this around in the circle and at the time of. So the MO was probably or possibly could have been because she was with Justin Timberlake. Yeah. But I don't think Britney had anything to do with this story because the guy it was almost like he's the one that broke up with her. Like, you know what I mean? Like the way he's going on. But I was thinking about it going, I don't think he's the one that was with her though, because I was trying to remember this because I think he said something about, yeah, my friend something because at the time it was just like what the hell because we're all music people, okay? Like why is she brought up in the middle of music people? Like it was this weird thing to me because it's like we're all musicians and then they were trashing Scott. He's a musician, so we were talking about music stuff. He's spouting off. He's mad. This dude psychotic. He's pissed off at Scott. He's taking it out towards me because he needs a vent somewhere. That's why I said then he gets mad and he throws me his jacket. I said there was kind of a joke with the jacket thing forever. I was like, Scott, you want your jacket back? He's just like ignoring me because he doesn't know me. Now, I don't know if he came to the house. Like, that was some of the other things I go, if he did, I was in my room. Like, That would have been weird, but I don't know if he did. Because at times some people came and went. That house had to be like over $1 million house. It was a weird thing. I was like, but they had a bunch of people there. Um, yeah, and then it had this like fireplace down and below. It went outside this thing on a side of a hill, and I mean, I wouldn't say I mean, the prices of houses out here. I mean, it's to me, it's just like a regular bread and butter house, but in that area, it would have been considered more of a higher end type of house. But I didn't think it was all that. Like the inside was not that great, and the outside was it was okay. But it would have been like well over $1 million home. It was strange, but they were renting it. And then in the middle of them having me go there, they're like, "Yeah, now we're moving out." And then now they have tons of friends and everybody they can go stay with. And for me, I think what had happened was I was living with that meat story guy that somebody here thought was hilarious. It was not hilarious. And I think they had offered to say that I could go stay there. I had to take off from that. That was really scary. So I think what happened was I fled. I fled in the middle of the night or something. And then I probably went and got a hotel or something. I was just like, because I had money. It wasn't that. It was that it was hard to find a place because I had pets. And so when I try to move somewhere, they want like three times the amount of rent. Um, it just becomes this thing where it was really difficult just to try to find a place. And then they let me stay there, and then they pulled that crap and then left me where I couldn't find a place right away. Now they had places set up for themselves already. And I was like, okay, well, let me look around, and so I wasn't able to find somewhere right away. And so yeah, it was really weird. And they're like, yeah, we have to be out by this one day. And I go, okay. So I wrote it down, right? Because I'm not going to stay there past that. It's crazy. So I was like, okay, I'm going to write it down. So anyway, they ultimately left earlier than that. And so I got stuck, left in this house alone. And it was creepy. And I'm just busy. I have to go to work. And then I have to try to, go find another place. And my pets are there. And none of them helped me out with that. Nothing. They just fled. And the guy is like, oh, we're just not going to be in the band. It was a stupid thing, right? It was totally effed up. And so then all of a sudden that guy comes back and he's like, you're still here. And I'm like, what the hell? You said that I had till this date. And I'm still looking for a place. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to stay here past the date that you guys had to be out. Because I'm not going to do that. But they told me that date. And then they left like a week or two before. And yeah, so what? Yeah, anyway, they're assholes. They were just total assholes. But that was about the extent of that drama right there. But at what time does anybody think these guys are good guys? Like, there's no good boy thing in this industry. It's like all these girls think these guys are these like wholesome, really good boy. I'm just like, what a joke. Like, they're the biggest a-holes out here. And so, no, me reading it is just like, oh yeah, I could just see this going on because he's a total misogynist. I'm like, who isn't? Because you hear the Carter guys and the Lance and all them making excuses for their dudes. I was like, okay, the dude committed the crime on whoever, right? He doesn't need you guys to help him out. He's a big boy, okay? Why is the babying happening to guys? There isn't like all these women going in mad packs like this and that. But other than her fans, right? But I mean, I'm saying like nobody's like, they don't stick up for women like that. They're like a bunch of gang members for these guys. Yeah. That's a frat boy mentality, right? Oh, you should forgive him. I was like, nobody has to forgive anybody. Nobody has to forgive anybody. Did you get in trouble at the time for doing it? No. Now, mind you, in the story, they both did not have a good relationship. I guess they both did stuff and whatever. But it was kind of painted out, I guess, like he was the, hurt boy that he cheated on her and, it was all destroyed. It was like that set up in the media. And, yeah, so there were some additions, I guess, with forcing an abortion, but then there's conflicting stories on that, and I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? But the main point is that he's not this good boy. And then people were saying that he's like the biggest cheater ever and cheated like a million times on everybody else. I was like, I don't know his personal thing because I don't pay attention to him. I'm not a fan. And probably because he's who he is, and most of them are that much of a pile of crap. So yeah, but they were making it sound like, she needs to get over it, but all this stuff. And it's like, dude, if I was pissed off about something, and then here's the thing about Britney, though. Like, I've talked about her problems too, as well. Like, we're critical over here. It's not at all, they're angelic and everything else. But here's the thing about Britney. She was not very vocal at that time. And another thing that she said, I actually found something last night as I was actually looking for the other thing. She basically said this line, and I was like, I'm annoyed. I was like, because they asked her about Justin's bullshit with the song, I think. And then she said, boys will be boys. I'm like, you didn't say that. Did you say that, Brittany? Brittany. Like, no, but that it's just showing the passiveness of it. Like, it's kind of like a toss off, like, guys will do whatever, that crap that we shouldn't be saying ever. But she said that back, I don't know, it was like something back when. And it wasn't part of what I was looking for last night, but I saw that and I was like, yuck. See? So she subconsciously throws that out there, right? That's ingrained in society. Boys will be boys. No, he's an asshole. He's a socio. I was like, he's a socio. But here's the thing. Yeah, no. Back then she did not say much. It was weird because I was saying it was such a thing with her coming out now. I go, no, that's part of the real Britney coming out there, because when you go back to the old stuff, she's just constantly passive and weird. Now I don't know how she was behind the scenes. Now behind the scenes it could be a different story, but in the public arena she wasn't spewing out anything. So for people to be mad today about it, it's like I'm just sitting there, I'm just listening. It's not all good, you guys, but it's it's goes to show like how fake everybody is up in here. Because she's taught to be a certain way, and that's why I said, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. It's like, I'm not going to be all fake and stuff for people just to make a tank of money. It's just, I would feel like an imposter. I go, that syndrome is real. They're real imposters, okay? Because I just pulled up another story, and it was more accidental than anything, but somebody, I don't know, it was a thing, and I was reading it, and I go, oh, this was out in 2012 too, when Russell Brand was raping everybody out here. Danny DeVito. And how did he get away with this bullshit? Yeah, there was a crowd back then that I was like, no, those guys are bad. I can already tell right now they're out cheating and raping everybody and doing all this shit. Like, I already know without even, like, I don't need to even read that story, right? And he gets a divorce, and I go, you already know that he's the piece of shit in it. Like, you already knew. Then you see his crowd of friends and people that he's with a lot, right? And I go, yeah, I know those people are a bit of a problem because I've been talking about them. You know what I mean? It was kind of like that. I was being a little critical, but I wasn't really going all deep in yet. And I was kind of like, yeah, there's a few issues right here. It was kind of like that. And I feel like that I started getting targeted in addition to some of those things. And I think it's a gaslight for anybody to sit there and try to like disregard that, because like I literally know my story, and you know what I mean? So I do. And I was like, wow, you try to brush it off like it's nothing, but then it just grew into this like monster. And so, yes, these people have quite a history. And I was like, we could lay it out. We could show videos. We could do all these different things. And I just don't have the time for it. And I honestly, the one thing about it that I wanted to do about it is just make sure that it's out here. So it's like people if they were victims of these people to come forward, because that's the only thing I could do about it. It's not like, I think some people might assume because, you know, like I would defend it or something. I would never defend that stuff. I was having issues with a lot of these people back then. And even the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing, I actually tackled him. Not physically. I was like, but yeah, he's an asshole. I kept saying, I go, I don't know if he was flirting with me or just being a straight up jerk. Like it was one of those things where I was like, that could be flirting, or it's just him being the biggest asshole in the world. Either or, it's bad. But then I had other issues on the set beyond him. I mean, that was like the only main interaction, but the rest of the interaction with them is just him being annoying. Um, but yeah, no, and Danny wanted to work with them again. And that's actually what tailed me off on the other story, because Danny DeVito, where's that story? I'm going to pull it up. All right, so Danny DeVito, back in October 2012, he cheated with a movie extra. First of all, people need to understand the dynamic here. At no point would this be consensual, okay? And I didn't tackle this on the other thing when I said they were asking me all these questions when I worked on Buffy. Okay, so there was a hard rule that when we work on set, and beyond the Ellen thing, it was worse than that, I'm sure. We're not allowed to just randomly talk to these people, okay? The only time that you could talk to them is only if they talk to you first. That was the rule. The hard rule, you guys, is that if I'm on set, I'm not allowed to just randomly start talking to them, even if we're just kicking back, waiting in a room. No. Now, did some people do that? Yeah, and some people may never worked again either, but sometimes, these people don't care. And yeah, but that was a very hard rule that they had where you could not just do that. So where is the power? Okay, the power is with the celebrity, right? So if they start talking to me, then it's on them. It's on them. So they're using their power, so he's abusing his power. So basically it's somebody that did a job like I did, and it says he had a reputation for abusing his power with the background. That's very serious. Now, the only thing I could think of beyond the whole public being pro-rapist and crap here is that they don't understand the dynamic of that work environment. So what it means is that Danny came up to them and then was like, hey, baby, you want to go, somewhere with me? That's him doing that. It's not the other way around, you guys. Because the work environment would not allow us to do that, because the AD would get us in trouble. And because they're there to protect the actors and everything, right? So it's Danny abusing his power and preying on the workers. And I'm like, who were they hired with? Were they with the same agency as me? Because most of these companies, when they do their shows and stuff and movies, were typically through Central. But there was one that was through a company called Taurus Casting, which did the Starship Troopers. I know that much. And that place was a bunk ass place. It was like out of a B movie. I don't know, out of some low budget movie. It was like a guy in this like brown room. It was a crazy thing, you guys. I never knew anything about the industry, and it had this ad, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go down there and then try to get some work, because I've never done it before, and I never knew any agency who to go to. And I find Taurus Casting. So I go there, and the guy is like, it was like it reminds you of something from out of the 80s or something. And the guy sends me out. And so while I was there, people told me about Central and to go sign up with Central, and then I'll get more work. Because this guy didn't get that much work. It was kind of like, once in a while they got calls out to these things, right? And it's not like he was a scammer or anything, but it was just, it was not one of the top things. But they did use that company But so I'm thinking that they were with Central because the big majority use Central Casting because it's one of the biggest ones out here. I guess that's how it works. But anyway, so yeah, so they didn't get protected here. So they were preyed on, and they are supposed to be protected by the agency. So why were they not? So Danny DeVito is like one of the biggest abusers of this, allegedly, from this thing right here, right? And it says an alleged former crew member from DeVito's early 90s movie Hoffa claimed that the actor and a young blonde would frequently get intimate in DeVito's limousine, and DeVito was allegedly able to lure her with empty promises to make her famous. So how is that any different from Harvey Weinstein, you guys? I mean, the conduct here is that bad. So I'm like, why is it? I mean, and this is out here. It's not like it was hidden. It's not like, oh, this is private information I know. It's like they posted this here in 2012. And so why was he allowed to even do that? You're talking about on set in a limousine? It says it would frequently get intimate in his limousine. So it says from the early 90s. And when I started working in it, it was like 96, I think. So this, I would have to look at when they did Hoffa, but it says it was kind of pathetic because she was very young and beautiful and obviously just having sex with him. And no, see, this is an opinion from this person here. I don't know why they got together, okay? But it's almost like they're trying to degrade her for just being with them for that. We don't know why they were together. However, they said that they know that he abused his power, and they can speak for that. So, yeah, it says with him in hopes that he'd make her a star. And it says Danny would have his limo driver drive them all over the city, and they'd canoodle in the back before going back to his room together. And it was sad to see her pretending to really like him. Now, you don't know. She could have actually liked him, when really it was just because of who he was. See, this portion kind of annoys me, the way that framing is, because I don't know, like maybe she was like a huge fan of his and was like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever. But anyway, it goes, and worse, Danny preying on vulnerable young girls like that. Well, a lot of the girls that got into this industry were mostly like 18 at least. So if you were working through that agency, yeah, it was 18. So anything younger, I think it was through some other thing. I don't know. Or maybe it was through that agency too. I don't know. But I think this one was probably like 18 or something. According to the source, it became obvious to many on the set that DeVito and the young woman were romantically involved. And yeah, so they remained silent. And then he may not appear to be a ladies' man, but Danny certainly gets a lot of female attention. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you don't know how she felt about him. I think some of these women, like, they see him on TV and think he's like the cutest little thing ever. Not me, though. But I'm like, but I can't speak for other women here. But what you're saying is that he abused his power. But it says, regarding the report, a rep for DeVito told us, as I told them, without names, if it is pure and simple fabrication and not worthy of a comment. Yeah, no, No, because why would anybody make this up? Because this has been a pretty common conduct from these guys, and I already could tell from the crowd because of the other guys involved. And so I find it to be legit. But here's the thing about it. It's like, is there other victims in this? Because what happened here, regardless if you thought he was cute and you wanted to get with him, this is an abuse of power, and that actually shouldn't have happened. Why did the set let the actor go and prey on the other talent? We're the other talent. The peasants. What you guys considered peasants. It means that he went up to them and preyed on them because they cannot talk to him outside that conduct. And you guys just let him abuse, like, the other actors, the other people that are there? Yeah, so they try to brush it off like that, so nobody cares about the story. It's like he's like a little Harvey over here. You want to be with me? I might make you famous. I can't imagine being with this guy, and then all of a sudden I become famous? With Danny DeVito? No, those are the, like, non-famous people ever. Those are the people that the media doesn't really pay much attention to. Let's be honest here. It's all the celebrity guys that everybody's like, the media's kind of like, I guess we have to talk about them sometimes. Like, yeah, I don't know. No. No, I knew something bad was going on over there. Actually, a long time ago, but I didn't go deep dive into it. I was just kind of like, yeah, if they're getting the divorce too on top of it, that is not good. And I didn't know if it was just like, some regular cheating, like, they were out somewhere and they meet some thing. No, this is massively abuse of power. Massive. I'm telling you guys, that's why I was so scared that Norm Macdonald was going to have me like let go off the set, because the guy goes, "Hey, Norm." And I was like, oh no. Because, well, okay, so the way that they originally presented this conduct was, don't harass the actors because they're busy, deep in thought, learning their lines and doing their work, and you're going to disrupt them. And that's how they kind of like did this garbage, right? But how does that explain it being during lunchtime or any other time, right? Where they're not even working, that you can't go, hey, I was really this and that. Oh, don't harass them too. Do you know what I mean? Like, nobody's going up to them like being a fan out on set most of the time. Okay, I'm not going to say that's probably never has happened, but the way that this guy went on was a situation where it was almost like that, where he's like, she's a huge fan of yours, Norm. And I was like, oh no, oh no. I was like, I'm going to lose my job. I was like, yes. So that conduct that guy did right there could actually get him totally banned from working again. And he's lucky that Norm is a cool guy, because he didn't have a problem with it. I was like, he didn't have a problem with it. But yes, definitely. You're not supposed to be doing that. So it would have to be a thing where Norm, because the other cast member, the guy that passed away, actually came up to me and started talking about, I don't know, he started talking about something. And I think he was heavily depressed as well. Okay. So he just started talking about his past and his history. He like went into a whole history thing with me of how he got into the industry and this and that and this and that. And, yeah, no, and he just talked to me like normal. Now that was okay because he came up to me, but if I had just walked up to him and started going blah 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 blah, that dude could get me no more work, Yeah, so we could not act like that. So if you read a story like this, so at the end of the day, if you read a story like this with any of these actors on any background, any worker person, that is an automatic abuse of power, because they're not allowed to approach them. So it's not an equal ground here. And to sit there and make it seem like they're going to get famous for being with them. Nobody's going to get famous for being with Danny DeVito. Not anyone on this planet. I can't imagine. The only person I could think of, maybe if you were like on the side of Kanye West, it's like you have to get abused in order for that. But, and I mean, I don't even think even in the 90s, because who the hell was like, oh, look at this girl that's like with Danny DeVito. We gotta, like, become, and that just never happened, you guys. Maybe if you were a guy and you were hanging out with Danny DeVito, maybe that's what's keeping them afloat. I don't know, but no. But I can already tell these people are dogs from fucking hell. Mostly if you're hanging around with this guy. Because these are the type of men that are sitting there going, oh, we hate women, or, we don't care about these conducts. Because as you see right here, they're the guilty parties, right? Of course they're going to have a problem with us coming out with this stuff. Of course. Because they're the ones that do it. It's so obvious, you guys. It's not a thing that they call it that we're liars. We're not liars. It's that they want to be able to do this conduct and are so frustrated that they don't know how to get a girl without raping them or taking advantage of them in any such situation like this, right? It makes them feel powerful. He's a little man, okay? He feels powerful to take advantage of some young girl that's an extra on the set. He can't get any other, like, equal, another actress or something. Not that he has to stick with that, but I'm just saying he's doing it in a situation that's taking advantage of them. Mostly if you're trying to promise like careers or popular, any of that crap. These guys are disgusting. Every part of them, okay? They're disgusting. Like I said, but the bullies are because they're doing this, you guys. It really is. And it should soften the blow with some people that have been dealing with this. It's just no, those are the guilty people. They're just coming after you because they're trying to hide that they're a bunch of rapists. Okay? Don't let the bullies win. I know there's days that it's hard because these guys are such son of a bitches. And sometimes the bullies are people that you liked. That's the crazy thing. Like for years, that's why I said, I go, I don't like anybody. They're all pieces of shit. But no, I mean, don't dismiss these stories either, because right here, as we're pointing out, this is the conduct. But this conduct right here is terrible. And he's not alone. This is so common that you see most of Hollywood protecting its house, right? But this isn't from just being in Hollywood, you guys. His upbringing is a piece of shit as a kid. To be going on like this, yeah. But it's enabled by all these guys. It is. And so they have issues with me. And it's like, well, I'm going to show you my issue with you then right now. If you want me to, we can totally go to town on your asses, like every single one of you. I'm just saying, because I was like, there's so much to say about it. Like all these people, all of them. They're disgusting. They're terrible humans. Where's the good in the world? Where is it?